Welcome to Falcon TV. The impact of algorithms on society. Algorithms are ubiquitous in the digital products and services we use every day, whether it be social media feeds, search engines, recommendation systems, or navigation apps. The automated formulas that underpin these technologies aim to provide useful information and choices to users. However, there is increasing concern over how much influence algorithms have over the information we consume and the decisions we make. This article will analyze how algorithms shape society for better or worse. What are algorithms? In simple terms, an algorithm is a set of instructions or calculations computers follow to solve problems and complete tasks. They process input data to produce specific outputs and outcomes. The goal is to create efficient automated systems that can analyze large datasets quickly. On platforms like Facebook and Amazon, complex proprietary algorithms analyze endless behavioral data and engagement metrics to curate and deliver tailored content to each individual user. Their ubiquity makes algorithms extremely influential arbiters of information in the digital age. Filter bubbles. One of the most discussed effects of algorithms is the filter bubble, the phenomenon where people are only exposed to information aligned with their existing behaviors and beliefs. For instance, YouTube's recommendation algorithm analyzes your watch history and suggests videos similar to what you already consume, gradually isolating viewers in echo chambers filled only with preferred content. Facebook's newsfeed algorithm likewise filters posts based on interests and friend networks. This creates segmented realities where users are less exposed to opposing viewpoints or new ideas beyond their confirmed biases. Radicalization risks. In serious cases, the filter bubble effect can contribute to potential radicalization when users start seeing increasingly extreme content. Platform algorithms designed to maximize engagement above all else end up promoting polarizing and emotionally charged posts that grab attention. Critics argue this fuels polarization by reinforcing biases versus balanced information. Videos of conspiracy theories or hate speech, for instance, may be recommended based on previous activity, sending users down dangerous rabbit holes. Addiction and mental health. There are also rising worries over how social media algorithms built to prioritize engagement increase addiction and negatively affect mental health, especially among teens. Features like personalized notifications and infinite scroll keep users constantly coming back. The fear of missing out, FOMO, is exploited to grab attention. While not solely responsible, algorithms tweaked to maximize time spent on apps are part of what makes social platforms so habit-forming according to experts. Overuse has been linked to issues like depression and anxiety in some studies. Manipulating purchases. E-commerce platforms like Amazon rely heavily on predictive algorithms to recommend purchases tailored specifically to each shopper. While often useful, this can lead to impulse buying and overspending. Algorithms intentionally offer suggestions when the platform detects intent to purchase. Scarcity messaging like limited time deals also prompt fast decision-making based on algorithms tracking shopping habits. Critics argue this manipulates consumers psychologically. There are calls for consumer protections around some exploitative practices. Spreading misinformation. The prioritization of engagement and clicks also means false or misleading content often spreads unchecked on social platforms. Inaccurate news and health misinformation get amplified algorithmically as they attract high levels of shares and comments. Platforms argue humans create content, but their algorithms unevenly boost certain types of content. This facilitates misinformation disproportionately reaching audiences. Some experts believe stronger oversight is needed around algorithmic promotion of verifiably false content. Biased and unfair outcomes. There is significant concern that algorithms can discriminate and produce biased outcomes that harm minorities. In criminal justice systems, predictive policing algorithms trained on flawed data perpetuate racial profiling. Hiring algorithms have screened out women. ProPublica found algorithms favored white patients over sicker black patients for healthcare programs. Such cases have sparked alarm over ingrained societal biases being replicated at scale through unregulated algorithms used across public services. Oversight advocates argue high-stakes algorithms must be carefully audited for fairness. Transparency issues. The proprietary nature of algorithms at powerful tech firms makes it impossible to inspect their workings. The opaque, black box code behind news feeds, search rankings, product recommendations, etc., prevents assessment of risks or errors. Tech firms argue algorithms are highly complex trade secrets. But there are demands for algorithmic transparency from civil groups, especially when public policy or rights are impacted. Independent audits of bias and accountability are needed, but limited without transparency according to experts. Potential solutions. Scholars argue several steps can improve algorithmic responsibility. Diversifying tech teams to mitigate bias risks. Enabling user customization of algorithms. Labeling content promoted algorithmically. Independent audits for fairness. Increasing transparency for public sector algorithms. Creating impartial oversight bodies to govern standards. Designing algorithms to maximize accuracy over just engagement. Tech firms contend they are balancing societal impacts with usability. But with algorithms playing a growing role in democracies, calls are increasing for thoughtful regulation of their enormous influence. The way forward. At their best, algorithms can help create more convenient, customized, and streamlined services that improve our lives. But as this examination shows, they also have significant pitfalls. There are no easy solutions, given how enmeshed algorithms are increasingly across society. However, upholding principles of transparency, oversight, diversity, and user agency can help foster ethical accountability around present-day algorithmic systems. Their impacts on individuals and communities demonstrate a need for nuanced conversations about how this technology is governed moving forward. With care and vigilance, society can hopefully harness algorithms more responsibly. Local reporters have also traditionally covered topics like public health information, disaster warnings, recalls, and alerts. But with newsroom staffing cuts, these essential services are compromised. Changes to pollution regulations, disease outbreaks, and product recalls now risk being overlooked. Weather warnings and evacuation orders around floods or wildfires reach fewer people if local journalists are not reporting actively. The loss of beat reporters covering healthcare, environment, and public agencies directly impacts community safety. Economic and financial instability. In-depth coverage of regional economic data, policy impacts, planned developments, etc., dries up when local business reporting shrinks. Communities can face greater uncertainty or instability without such financial information. Investigative work on fraud, business corruption, and malpractice also declines. Job seekers and small businesses lose out when economic journalism is scaled back. Even property values and local revenues suffer when news outlets are not covering an area frequently. Informed investing and consumer spending rely on robust local media. Erosion of social cohesion. Studies have found that when local journalism disappears, a vital sense of social cohesion and community identity fades as well. Residents feel less connected with each other and less engaged with local issues and affairs when these are not reported on consistently. Local media provides a public forum for civic discourse that fosters community. Without outlets amplifying concerns, spotlighting area successes, and disseminating regional information, citizens become more isolated in their experiences. Maintaining social capital relies heavily on the media institutions connecting people across neighborhoods and demographics. Democratic disengagement. The loss of local journalism has quantifiable impacts on civic participation and voter turnout. Areas with limited access to regional reporting outlets and local political coverage see measurable drops in election engagement. Consistent exposure to local political journalism informs citizens and provides motivation to participate. When local media coverage around campaigns and public affairs shrinks, interest and political agency in the community declines as well. This disengagement emboldens poorly performing leaders as scrutiny and accountability pressure fades. Threats to government accountability. When veteran local journalists covering town councils, police departments, and school boards lose their jobs, those institutions operate with much less scrutiny. Local reporters attending meetings, reviewing budgets, and filing FOIA requests are the front line for exposing incompetence, mismanagement, and corruption. Their day-to-day accountability coverage on municipal agencies ensures transparency and keeps leaders responsive. But stretched newsrooms cannot dedicate resources for in-depth oversight. Eliminating watchdogs means more misconduct goes undiscovered at substantial public cost. Increases in corruption and scandals. Various research analyses have quantified a rise in criminal misconduct and corruption among politicians as local newsrooms shrink. One study found a stark increase in criminal sentences and violations among officials as newspaper scrutiny ebbed. In areas that saw newspaper closures, officials were less likely to be penalized for misconduct. This moral hazard effect demonstrates that when the threat of investigative reporting declines, public servants more readily abuse power. More scandals nationally have involved areas with reduced press oversight. Mistrust and cynicism. In the absence of factual local reporting that builds common understanding, misinformation and conspiracy theories can more readily flourish. Some studies note local journalism decline has fueled greater polarization and mistrust as people rely more on partisan or unverified sources. Well-reported news that illuminates truth becomes ever more essential for sustaining civic harmony. Lacking shared sets of facts undermines social cohesion and solutions. Manipulation and dishonesty grow when professional journalists are not present as trusted arbiters of truth versus fiction. This erodes community faith. Increased risks of calamities. When disaster strikes, local journalists often provide earliest alerts and life-saving guidance on evacuations, shelters, power outages and more. Their real-time reporting minimizes harm by keeping citizens informed. But stretched newsrooms have less capacity to offer these safety services round the clock. Lacking local reports on incoming extreme weather or public health emergencies puts lives at greater risk. Rural counties without news outlets are especially vulnerable. Some calamities with higher death tolls have involved communities no longer covered robustly. Solutions and innovations. Addressing the local journalism crisis requires multifaceted approaches. Some solutions focus on funding models, whether via philanthropy, government subsidies, paywalls, or rethinking online advertising splits. Non-profit outlets focused on public service reporting offer another route. Promoting local media literacy and subscriptions can boost readership and revenue too. On the tech front, better aggregators and discovery tools could connect news consumers to quality regional sources. Treating local news as a public good that serves communities could spur broader solutions to revive this ailing but essential pillar of democracy. Conclusion. Local journalism elucidates issues, binds residents together, scrutinizes leaders, and informs on a hyper-local level no national outlet can. Its disappearance has cascading negative ramifications for accountability, political agency, social cohesion, and community welfare. While the challenges are immense, preserving this form of journalism and its civic purpose remains imperative. Through concerted economic, technological and policy efforts, solutions can potentially be forged to ensure communities nationwide have access to the vital local reporting that engages, serves, and empowers citizens. Subscribe Falcon TV for more videos. Thanks for watching.